Hello everyone, this is Lloyd from Bizzfo with a short tutorial on creating your point of sale buttons. So let's go to point of sale. You'll notice at the bottom we have a touch setup, and we have at the top we have our touch interface and scan. Our touch interface is actually what the buttons look like combined with scanning if you want to scan. And if we go back to our scan interface, this is purely just for scanning. So when you're in the retail industry, you'll typically just use this interface. But setting up the buttons, let's go right into that. We go to our point of sale, we go to our touch setup. Default password is 3 on the new installs. So what we want to do here is I'm just going to click any button. The moment I click a button, I get my navigation page that opens up. So the trick here is to understand your navigation. This button is to return back home. This button is to actually navigate into the button. So you'll see if I click it, I have the ability to change the name, or I can simply just navigate into the button. Adding more buttons is simply clicking the plus button, and here we can set a back button, or we can even set up a new menu and just go a level down deeper. So let's go back to home. Just staying on the navigation, so let's add a button. I'm just going to move this button. There's a little tick box here, and you can move your button and then put it where you want to. Just adding another button, and there we go. Deleting a button is quite simple. You just click on your delete button. It just hides it, so there's no damage being done. So don't worry if you accidentally delete your button, you can just put it back. Alright, typically on this menu, which is our main menu, we won't have any next levels. So we typically would go into this level. So let's go back to our shop. Let's go into our shop. And at this level, we can either have a product or we can have another level. So let's go one level down. So I'm going to add another button. I'm just going to select move. This button popped in here. So this button has already been created. And I'm going to say next to navigate. It asks me to go into a deeper level. Once on this level, I now have the option to either link one product. I can select the product, just double click it, and there we go, the product is added. Or I can do bulk buttons. So let's go bulk buttons, let's go category, let's go burgers, and I'm going to select all burgers and I'm going to add them. So this is an easy way to set up your categories for your buttons. And what we do next is we add another button and we set it as a back button to allow for navigation. So there we go. So now I can navigate, and this would be, let's just call it our more menu, and let's give it a different color. Let's give it orange. Okay, so now I click more, navigate into it, and this I can set the color and make this green, and there we go, I can navigate. So back to home, I go to shop, I navigate to that button, I can go on the more menu, click next, and there we go. Moving the buttons, again we tick this little box and we can now move and drag the buttons. If we want these buttons to have prices on them, we can go to our page details, and on our page we can right click and we can say prices on button. Let's make all of them, and there we go, all of them have now got prices. Also a tip, when you're on your page button, you'll notice if I have need to print these buttons to a specific location, I can do that. I can just say I've got an option of basically 6 printers, so it's 3 bar, 3 kitchen. So I'm just going to say kitchen 1. So when these buttons are now pushed, they will go to our kitchen 1. So cool. Let's just summarize. We go to our home button, which is our main categories. Clicking on a button, we navigate by clicking our next menu. On this page we have an option of adding buttons, or we have an option of deleting buttons. We can add a button and add a next menu by simply clicking on our next button. We will now have a next sub menu. From here we can add more buttons. Another example would be baked. I select all the bake, I add them, and there we go. And then I can add another button, and I can set that to our back button. And this is the process you continuously repeat. Maybe another tip, if you want to size these buttons, you can see that the height is 61. So if this one had to be 61, I can size that button to 61 as well, and then align the tops and so forth. So that's a very quick brief introduction into buttons.